This video is going to explain how to write a linear equation in slope-intercept form. So first thing that I need to do is make sure that you remember that slope-intercept form is called slope-intercept form because you can look at it and identify the slope and the y-intercept. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So when we see an equation in this form, we know that m is the slope and the b is the y-intercept. So when we learn to graph linear equations, we learn to change into this form, and then this is our starting point, and then we use the slope as the rise over run to get to additional points. So what we're going to work on in this video is how to get into this form of the equation if it's not given to you. All right, example 1. So let's say, I don't know if the light is needed, but let's say we have 4x plus 2y equals 18. All right, so this is not in slope-intercept form. In fact, this one right here is called standard form. So this is standard form of a linear equation right there. So what we want to do is change it into this form. So we know we have slope-intercept form when we have y by itself. So when we look at this, we need to get y by itself. So the first thing we need to do is get rid of 4x. And the way we get rid of 4x is by subtracting 4x. So that's going to cancel. But we know in math, whatever we do to one side, we have to do the other side to keep it equal. So we need to subtract 4x from this side also. So that is going to give us, on the left, we're going to have 2y, and on the right, negative 4x plus 18. All right, so if we compare this to what we want to get, we're pretty close. The only thing that we need to do is get rid of this 2. So to get rid of the 2 from 2 times y would be to divide by 2, and that will cancel. But we know whatever we do to one side, we have to do the other side. So we have to divide by 2 on basically to everything on both sides. So now this gives us y. Negative 4 divided by 2 is going to be negative 2x, and then 18 divided by 2 will be 9. So now we have slope-intercept form. So we know that this is the slope and that is the y-intercept. So at this point, we could go through and graph. All right, let's try another one. And that's basically all you need to know. We're just going to keep practicing because there's some different things that can happen depending on the numbers that you have. All right, let's say we had 9x minus 3y equals 30. All right, so again, we want slope-intercept form. So what we want, so I'm going to write this over here, we want y equals mx plus b. So that's what we want to get. And this is what we have right now. So first thing we need to do is get rid of this 9x. So to get rid of a 9x, we can subtract 9x, which will make it cancel. But we also have to do the same over here. All right, so that's gone. So now on the left side, all I have is negative 3y. On the right side, we have negative 9x plus 30. And I'm writing it like this because in slope-intercept form, the x comes first. All right, so we almost have this, but now we need to get rid of the negative 3. So since this is multiplied to the y, I need to divide by negative 3 to get the negatives and the 3's to cancel. So that means I have to divide this by negative 3, and I have to divide this by negative 3. So this gives us y. Over here, negative 9 divided by negative 3 is going to be a positive 3x. And then a positive 30 divided by a negative 3 is going to be a negative 10. So now we have slope-intercept form, and we can go ahead and take the m and the b from this and graph. All right, so that one shows you what happens if the y is negative. All right, I need to go on to a new sheet. For example 3, let's do 3x plus 2y equals 12. All right, so again, this is standard form, and we want slope-intercept form. So what we want is y equals mx plus b. So this is what we want to get, and this is what we have right now. So basically, we need to get the y by itself. When we get the y by itself, we're done. All right, so first thing we need to do is get rid of this 3x. So to get rid of 3x, we need to subtract 3x. So that cancels. But whatever you do to one side, you have to do the other. So we need to come over here and subtract 3x on that side as well. So now on the left, we have 2y. And on the right, we have negative 3x plus 12. All right, so we're almost done. We just want y, and we have 2y. So to get rid of this, 2 times y, we divide by 2, and that will cancel that out. But then we need to go over here and divide this by 2, and go over here and divide this by 2. So in the end, on the left, we have y. On the right, negative 3 can't be divided by 2. So we're just going to leave it, because if you remember, slope is rise over run. So this is going to be our rise and our run. So it's okay if it's a fraction. So I'm going to leave that as negative 3 over 2x. But then 12 divided by 2 gives us 6. And now we're done. So this is our y-intercept. So this is our starting point. And then this is our slope, which tells us the rise over run. All right. How about for example 4, let's do, how about 3y minus 7x equals 13. Let's do something kind of crazy here. All right, so this is almost in standard form. Typically the x comes before the y, that's alphabetical, but either way, we still want to get y equals mx plus b. So this is what we want over here. All right, so we need to get the y by itself. So we need to get rid of a negative 7x. So the way to get rid of a negative 7x would be to cancel it with a positive 7x. So those will cancel. So that means we have to add 7x on this side. So now we have 3y equals 7x plus 13. All right, almost done. We just need to get rid of the 3. So to get rid of the 3 from 3y, we need to divide by 3, so that will cancel. But we need to divide this by 3, and we need to divide that by 3. All right, so in the end, we have y equals, all right, 7 can't be divided by 3 evenly. And remember, that's our slope. So a slope is okay to have that as a fraction. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave that as 7/3 x. Or it could be 7x over 3. That's the same thing. All right, when we get to this number, 13 can't be divided by 3. We might want to make that a mixed number. So 3 will go into 13 4 times with 1 left over. So now we know that our y-intercept is at 4 1/3, which is kind of weird, but that's okay. We can graph 4 1/3. And then our slope is going to be rise 7, run 3. So that one is an example where both numbers are fractions. All right. All right, last example for example 5. Let's say that we had 5x minus 2y equals 17. All right, so again, we want y equals mx plus b. So we need to get y by itself. So the first thing we need to do is get rid of this 5x. So to get rid of a 5x, we can subtract 5x and it will cancel. But that means we also have to do that on this side. So now we have negative 2y equals negative 5x plus 17. All right, I'm almost done. I need to get y. So negative 2y, to get rid of the negative 2, we need to divide both sides by negative 2, so the negatives and the 2's will cancel. But then we need to divide this by negative 2, and we need to divide that by negative 2. So we get y. Over here, the negatives will cancel each other out. 5 over 2, 2 doesn't go into 5 evenly, and we always leave our slope improper. So we can leave that as 5 over 2x or 5x over 2, same thing. All right, then we get over here and we have 17 divided by negative 2. Well, I know it's going to be a negative, and I know it won't go evenly, but we can change this one to a mixed number. So 2 will go into 17 8 times. That would be 16. So that's going to leave 1 left over. So now I know that the y-intercept is negative 8.5, which is fine. And then the rise over run is 5 over 2. And you're done. So what this video has shown you is that if you are given a linear equation that is not in slope-intercept form, all you need to do is a little bit of solving to rearrange it so that you have slope-intercept form, and then you can identify your slope and your y-intercept, and then you would be able to graph.